Hi, welcome back to BT Fishing Adventures. We're down on the Clearwater. We're gonna try different style of catfishing today instead of just anchoring up and fishing off the bottom. I made some homemade dragon sinkers the other night, and so I'll show you how I rigged all those up and whatnot. And I actually have one right here. It's kind of hard to see. We're kind of messed up with the sunlight at the moment, but the idea of it is it's going to go down the bottom, and it's a long tube with air in the front of it to prevent it from snagging up. And so as we drag along, it'll just roll up and over rocks, and hopefully we'll find a catfish that way. We're actually down in the Clearwater instead of the Snake, and we're going to try that, see if we can't get anything doing that. If not, we'll head back somewhere else and anchor up, now that I have an actual anchor, because I built one finally after losing mine. But I will show you kind of what I got going on there. This is the first rigging we got. We got a weight. I actually found that digging around for stuff to make my other anchor. Then got the idea of go ahead and try to make a few of them. Been wanting a few, but didn't really want to buy them in case they really don't work. So I went ahead and made a couple of them. I was kind of messing around with it and see what would happen. And it bounces up off the bottom, doesn't seem to hang up. But I got it's called a striker from Whisker Seeker. It's a double hook rig. Got a float, and then I have a rattle right there. Rattle kind of rattles under the water, and seems to catfish like that vibration, and they'll come up to it. Just about any fish is going to go for a vibration. They feel electromagnetic pulses in the water and vibrations in the water and scent. I got all three, almost all three. So that's the first rigging we're going to throw out and see what happens. Get maybe a better view of that. The next one we got is a demon dragon. Just like the last one I lost, I've actually had really good luck on these things. That rattling, it's a little float, so it'll hit the bottom, float up, it keeps it kind of off the bottom. I know it's a lot of people think catfish spend their life on the bottom, but they really don't. They're like every other fish. They will hang out in different parts of the water column. Sometimes I've caught them on bobbers. You just have to hunt around for them. They do spend a fair amount of time on the bottom in rocks and holes and whatnot. But another one of those sinkers that I made on a little demon dragon. We'll throw it out there 40, 50 feet and see what this one can pull up. After we get more bait.
Just make it. It's a process.
Then the third one is just another version of a demon dragon, a clear one. A buddy of mine gave it to me, so we'll give it a shot. But so far, nothing's hanging up. I know some people think I'm kind of
Retarded.
Slightly retarded for trying it. They think it won't work, but hey, who knows? It may not work, but it might work. They may be retarded for thinking so.
Might be brilliant.
I might just be a genius.
You're lying to yourself.
I'm patting this shit.
Possibly lying to myself.
Just like when Mom says she loves her food. You're lying.
And just for all the haters, yes, there is enough people licensed on this boat for 3 rods.
There's enough for 4 rods.
Actually, there's enough for 4 rods.
I caught a big one.
No, he didn't catch a big one. But we didn't get hung up, but didn't get nothing doing it. We're going to try it again when the water temp comes up a little bit. Go through to the day and then to the evening one weekend. Spend a good run at it. See what happens. But we went ahead and moved over here to a different spot. And now we're anchored up. Just ignore the guy behind me. He's kind of a dork.
He must be like a 1,200 pounder.
See, he's kind of a dork. But what do you get? Love the kid anyways.
Dude, look at this thing.
Don't you just love the hat?
Try this.
That's called the bottom for one.
I was reeling too slow, apparently.
I think he's a little too slow. But we'll see what we get in this spot. Boats are kind of calming down. They're not as many as there was a little bit ago, but we'll see what we get.
You're scaring them away.
Pretty. Been fighting him for a few hours. It's really working. food for like a week.
Okay, go up slow. Yep, there you go. Just slow and steady.
Man, I'm probably gonna have to fight this thing for another half an hour, Jesus. Trying to
Oh, that's a nice one. Okay, don't pick it up. Leave it in the water. Let it down. Okay. I'll take that and then grab those grippers. Where'd they go?
Look at the shark.
I don't know what Aiden did with them.
They were on the ground.
I lost my train of thought. The last trip was Trish's first catfish, and that was Aiden's first. He's never got one before either. So, yeah, it looks, I don't know, 6, 7, 5 pounds, something like that.
I've only ever caught sturgeon and sharks.
He says he's only ever caught sturgeon and sharks, but it's Aiden. What do you do?
A few goldfish.
A few goldfish.
Maybe.
Got it?
Same and the fish.
Okay. We ended up moving spots. We've been here for 30 minutes. On the same pole as last one. It doesn't feel like a too bad of one. I was hoping we'd get one more before we gotta go. We gotta go a little earlier tonight. It'd be, are you not recording?
No, it's recording.
It'd be a lot easier if somebody didn't forget his net at home.
Mom!
I'm not a he.
Yet. It's attacking me.
Just put them in sideways.
Inside.
Yep, no. Open it all the way up. There you go. I'll put them in sideways. Turn it down, turn it. There you go. That'll be it. Perfect. Little male. Yeah, they're not.
Jeez, that was rude.
It was rude. Rude fish.
Dude.
They're not spawning yet. They don't have any spawning marks, and if they were spawning, you wouldn't be catching any males. So I knew that water temperature. So their water temperature isn't too awful warm yet for them. Oh, I know it's a male. You look at the size of his head. It's big old wide. Almost looks like he's got little shoulders right there. That's generally a male trait. But he's a cute little fish. But if they were spawning, he'd have some rub marks on him, and that's generally when they're done spawning, they're finally coming back out to feed. The males are. Males will sit on the nest, and the females will lay their eggs and move on. Yeah, it's kind of short and stubby. Nothing wrong with short and stubby little fish. Hit part of its fin bit off.
It's like you. Short and stubby.
Go ahead. Well, we're going to go ahead and call it an evening for this little trip. I've got to get home and got work tomorrow. Or Trisha's got work tomorrow, and so get her home and get to bed. But we wound up with 2 catfish. So it wasn't a horrible night. Not a super productive, but that's how fishing goes. I was glad to get those 2. I'm always thankful when I get a fish. There's a lady over there watching us.
Creepy eyes behind you. Look.
It does look like eyes. Do you see the eyes? Got one more thing before I drive on home. If any of this stuff you guys want to know what I'm doing, because I am doing a few things differently than what a lot of people in this area know how to do. I've changed some of my tactics up quite a bit, just watching other YouTubers, research, and a lot of the stuff I'm doing is working fairly well for me. So you want to know some of it, just put a comment in there. I'm more than happy to show it. There's a lot of how-to videos out there, so I'm just not really doing it, but if somebody wants to know, I'm more than happy to talk about it, show you my rigging, the rods, reels, lines, all that. I'm not too into the whole knot thing. Good old clinch knot works just fine for me. I sturgeon fish with it, I salmon fish with it. About every kind of fishing I'll do with a clinch knot. And I've caught plenty of sturgeon with that one single same knot. I use it for everything. But if you want to know how I built my anchor, because I just built a new one, I've built 2 of them so far, because they are a little spendy online. You can get a Columbia River anchor that's about $120, or you can go to the hardware store and spend $20 on materials, and it's about $50 for rope and chain and all that, because you need a certain length of chain and rope, and depending on the waters you're at. But if you want to know some of that, let me know. I'll be happy to explain it. I can do a short little clip of how I did it, all that good, wonderful stuff. So y'all have a good night.
Okay, so I'm gonna be doing a tutorial on how to fish with these crawdiddlies here. You can see, very realistic. First things first, obviously, you're gonna want to cast it out. Okay. Oh.
Is that how you do that? I would have laughed so hard if that pole would have went in the water.
Annoying me.
Good. Take 2. So what you do is you let it sink to the bottom. Right? And once it hits the bottom, you yank. You let it sail to the bottom, you yank. And you just do that until you hit yourself a megalodon. Because everybody knows. Because they're so big. Now the crawdiddly doesn't really like feed them at all. Gives them like 2 calories. But they're like rare to find in the ocean. So they're like a treat. It's like your grandma who's on a diet but decides, hey, it's Christmas, I'm gonna have a cookie. It's like that. Then she ends up having 8. So yeah, it's pretty much the same thing on repeat. Just fishing.
Oh, good Lord!
And that's about it. Crawdiddly friend. Cut!